Today is the day for breaking news straight from the world of the Las Vegas Raiders. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, click the button and activate the bell, because here is where you'll find the most complete and honest analysis of everything that happens with our team. The loss against the Bengals not only shook up the roster, but also brought drastic changes to the coaching staff. And now, with the 2024 draft approaching, the question is clear: draft or develop a quarterback? Hold on to your excitement, because we're going to dive into all the details. The Raiders had a roller coaster of a time at quarterback during their 41-24 loss to the Cincinnati Bengals. Gardner Minshew, the backup QB, was replaced by Desmond Ritter in the third quarter, which caught many by surprise. To make matters worse, Minshew's performance up to that point had not been stellar, but it wasn't disastrous either. He completed 10 of 17 passes for 124 yards, with no touchdowns or interceptions. After the game, Minshew said, "It's frustrating because I always want to be out there with my guys, and who can blame him?" The quarterback position is the heart of the offense, and this trade showed that the team is still unsure of who should lead the team on the field, but was Ritter the best option? The problem is that Ritter failed to make an immediate impact either. Despite leading a touchdown drive, his overall performance was modest: 74 yards and 8 TD. This lack of clarity about who the guy is to lead the offense left fans with a lot of questions, and as you'll see below, the changes didn't stop there. Desmond Ritter's addition was seen as a desperate attempt to inject life into the attack, but the reality is that the Raiders' problems go far beyond a single player. Although Ritter was able to score a touchdown, his impact was minimal in a game that already seemed lost. We cannot ignore that the score was 31-10 when he took responsibility. The question remains, was this change strategic or just a sign of desperation on the part of the coaching staff? Many fans were hoping to see something new, but the truth is that Ritter failed to show anything different from Minshew. His accuracy was 68.8%, which is reasonable, but it is far from the performance of a QB who can carry a team on his back. This inconsistent performance isn't just a matter of individual talent, but reflects a lack of overall cohesion on offense. And when the foundation is shaky, the next natural step is to overhaul the coaching staff's leadership, something that has been addressed with urgency, as we'll see in the next point. After that bitter loss, the Raiders decided to act quickly. In a bold move, 3 key members of the coaching staff were fired: offensive coordinator Luke Getsy, offensive line coach James Craig, and quarterbacks coach Rich Scangarello. It was a clear message from the front office: deliver results or you're out. These dismissals reflect dissatisfaction with the performance of the offense, which has been one of the worst in the NFL. They only had 217 total yards in the game against the Bengals, and the running game, which should be supporting the quarterback, managed only 60 yards on 21 attempts. With numbers like that, it's clear that the problem goes beyond who's throwing the ball. The Raiders' offensive line had a performance to forget in the game against the Bengals. They allowed 5 sacks, an alarming number, especially against a defense that had only recorded 12 sacks all season. This put even more pressure on the quarterbacks, making it nearly impossible for Minshew or Ritter to perform consistently. With the changes in the coaching staff, expectations now fall on how the team will react. Will these dismissals be enough to turn the tide, or do the problems run deeper? In the next topic, we will focus on how the offensive line has been one of the team's biggest weaknesses. The lack of protection isn't just a matter of technique, but also of communication and cohesion between players. When an offensive line can't protect its quarterback, the entire offensive strategy falls apart. Furthermore, the running game was virtually non-existent, averaging less than 3 yards per attempt. For a team that has always prided itself on its physicality on offense, this is unacceptable. With offensive line coach James Craig out of the game, the team now has to completely rethink its approach. Will the solution come from new talent in the draft, or can the line be restructured with the current players? This question brings us to a crucial point: The implications for the upcoming draft. With a 2-7 record, the Raiders are already projected to be a high pick in the 2024 draft. The question now is, what will be the priority? A quarterback to lead the rebuild or reinforcements on the offensive and defensive lines to create a more solid foundation? This decision will be critical to the future of the franchise. The 2024 draft promises to bring elite talent, especially at quarterback. Names like Caleb Williams and Drake May are being considered first-round picks, and both have the potential to transform a franchise. But taking a new QB also means giving up resources in other critical areas. The truth is that the Raiders need reinforcements at several positions, not just quarterback. With such an underwhelming campaign, the priority should be to create a solid foundation, and that could mean picking up talent for the offensive or defensive line. Let's explore who the top prospects for the draft are in the next section. Two names stand out on every franchise's radar: Caleb Williams, USC, and Drake May, UNC. Both are considered generational talents, with skills that can redefine a team's offense. Williams, in particular, is known for his improvisational ability and accuracy on deep throws, while May has an enviable pocket presence and great control of the game. In addition to quarterbacks, there are also interesting options to bolster the offensive line, such as Joe Alt Notre Dame and Olamuyiwa Fashanu Penn State, both elite tackles who could transform the Raiders' defense. The right choice will depend on how the front office sees the team's future, building around a new QB or bolstering the current roster. Draft picks are always a risk, but they can also be a golden opportunity. In the next topic, we will evaluate who, within the current roster, can still become a key player in this rebuild. Even amid the chaos, there are players on the roster who can still shine. Aidan O'Connell, for example, has shown flashes of potential in previous games. He's young, has a good arm, and with the right coaching, he could perhaps become the leader the Raiders need. Another name that cannot be ignored is Davante Adams. Although he is a wide receiver, his experience and leadership off the field are essential to motivate the team. He has been one of the few constants in a season of ups and downs. Still, the biggest problem is the lack of consistency at quarterback. Should the team focus on developing its current players, or is it time to look for an experienced veteran on the market? In the next topic, we will talk about the contribution of the defense, which, despite its problems, continues to deliver results.